We visited Lake Garda in October 2015 and stayed in Limone, a pretty resort on the lake's eastern shore. Lake Garda is Italy's largest lake and is located in the northeast of the country, midway between Milan and Venice. Because of its location, the weather in October can be cool and wet. We were lucky, with warm sunshine every day and no rain until the day we left to return home. A regular ferry service crisscrosses the lake throughout the day, and Limone's wharf gives easy access to the town centre. As with many of the resorts at the northern end of the 27-mile-long lake, Limone is squeezed between the lake shore and the mountains. Many of the shops and cafes are tourist-oriented, and we were surprised to see how many were still open this late in the season. With the weather as pleasant as it was, the shops provided an added interest to our regular strolls through the town, and the cafes and bars provided somewhere to sit in the sun and partake of a coffee or beer. We particularly enjoyed our strolls along the water's edge, with its beautiful views across the sunlit water to the mountains beyond. We couldn't help but be impressed by how clean the tree-lined public areas were kept, and how well tended the flower beds were. Nor could we help being impressed by how clear the lake water was, particularly where it helped show off this unusual sub-aqua statue. As well as the regular public ferry service, which runs the full length of the lake, if you have 4 hours to spare, there are also many private ferries plying their trade. This one runs from Limone to Malcesine on the opposite side of the lake, but not everyone is that keen to board. Whilst at Lake Garda, we visited a number of other resorts. This is the town of Garda, which is located on the eastern side of the lake, at the point where the mountains disappear and the lake widens considerably.
Listen to the music playing, though we know the world is going crazy, but we don't care.
The ferries we'd seen elsewhere on the lake were also in evidence here, transporting visitors to and from this attractive town. On the day we visited, the travelling market was in place, and although we weren't there to buy, it provided an enjoyable distraction. Where and when the desire to attach padlocks to public walkways began, I've no idea. But we found some dates going back more than 25 years. Though it wasn't too clear what exactly occurred on those dates that was worthy of going to such trouble.
Funigole, funigola, funigole, funigola. La 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 la, funigole, funigola.
From Garda, we travelled a little further south to the walled town of Lassise, with its ancient castle and church and attractive harbour. One thing we did notice on our walk through the cobbled and stone-clad streets was the damage being caused to the iconic cypress trees by pest infestation, which, we were told, was to be biologically addressed throughout the region in the coming months. The medieval church of St. Niccolò has frescoes dating from the 12th century, whilst the harbour is the home of a much more recent construction. We felt the unusual use of shells in the low-level balustrade were very thought-provoking. From Lassise, we travelled to the very south of the lake, to Sirmione, probably the busiest tourist town on Lake Garda, with a moat to be crossed before gaining entry to the thronging town beyond.
Ah, più belle tutte belle, non è mai più bella
The castle tower is equipped with rather more steps than we wanted to tackle, but we were reliably informed that the view from the top is spectacular. At ground level, at the height of the season, the town must be a heaving mass of people and vehicles, each vying for the right of way. Certainly the streets were never designed for this particular type of pitched battle. I've no idea who buys the tat that seems to be on offer everywhere. But each to his own, I guess.
I sing amore.
Like all the other towns on the lake, Sirmione has its own wharf, and the ferries arrive and depart with an easy efficiency, generally avoiding the local lake traffic with no more than a passing glance. From nearby, we boarded the chartered boat that was to take us back northwest to Gardone. Once aboard, we were regaled once again by our tour manager's repeated boast of even better to come.
Wait until we see you take it to the next spot.
Generally, we were looked after very well by our tour company, but even the best tour guides can get a little wearing after a while.
Io pregare e tu credermi perché desidero te come non sapendo Catari ne torna sorriendo canto only you solo per te.
From Gardone, which had all but closed down at the end of a busy tourist season, we were taken to Salo, and from there returned to Limone.
I sing amore.
following day, we crossed the lake by means of one of the private ferries to Malchesine, with the intention of taking the cable car to the top of Monte Baldo.
Non sapendo Catari né torna a Sorrento, canto only you, solo per te I sing amore, do you capire oppure no, voglio dir che I love you so.
This particular cable car was much bigger than many we'd previously travelled on, with room for more than 40 passengers. It was also different in that the journey was split in two, with the second car turning on its vertical axis to provide a full 360-degree view during the ride to the top of the mountain.
Sto cuore a te volo co pensiero, niente voglio, niente spero, cada notte sempre a fianco a me.
Once at the top of the mountain, the views over the Dolomites, with the first fresh snow of the season covering their peaks, were breathtaking. Whilst we were there to take in the views, others had made the journey simply to return to the bottom by an altogether different mode of transport. We thoroughly enjoyed the time we spent at the top of Monte Baldo watching the daring do's of the hang gliding fraternity, but decided that hitching a lift wasn't for us, so we returned to the cable cars for our journey down. But even on the way down, we continued to be entertained by the antics of the hang gliding pilots.
Sta contenta, io non penso a te solo, non pensiero la consola, che tu pensi solamente a me. Ah, più belle tu.
Whilst we enjoyed the many places visited during our stay at Lake Garda, our trip to the top of Monte Baldo was certainly one of the highlights.
Prima